Hey again, welcome back to AI for Lawyers. I'm Alice, here with Dan as always. Last episode we taught GCES, the framework from the Microsoft Singapore Academy of Law's Prompt Engineering Guide. 4 boxes: goal, context, expectation, source. Today we're teaching the second major framework, COSTAR.
COSTAR comes from Singapore's GovTech. 6 letters: context, objective, style, tone, audience, response.
Let's walk through each box. Context, the background information. What's the situation? Who are the parties? What's happened so far? Objective, the task. What do you want the model to produce? Style, how the output should be written. Formal, conversational, technical, plain language. Tone, the emotional register. Reassuring, neutral, urgent, measured. Audience, who will read this? A client, a judge, a board, a colleague. Response, a format. A letter, a memo, bullet points, a table, a one-page summary.
If you listened to the last episode, you'll notice immediately that COSTAR and GCES overlap. Context maps to context. Objective maps to goal. Style, tone, and audience are all things that GCES bundles into a single box called expectations. The main difference? GCES has source, the reference documents, which COSTAR doesn't name as a separate box. And COSTAR splits the output formatting into 3 boxes: style, tone, and audience, where GCS treats them as one.
Neither framework is wrong. There are 2 ways of slicing the same task. We'll come back to that thought next episode. But for now, let's see COSTAR in action.
Example 1. You're a senior associate at a construction law firm. Your client is a property developer. Their steel supplier has declared force majeure because of a shipping disruption. The construction timeline is at risk, and the client, the CEO of the development company, needs a letter explaining their options.
Naive prompt. Write a letter about force majeure to my client. The model writes something generic about force majeure doctrine. It's legally correct, but completely impersonal. It doesn't know who the client is, what the contract says, or what the client actually needs to decide.
COSTAR version. Context. My client is a property developer in Singapore. Their steel supplier has declared force majeure due to a shipping disruption affecting delivery of structural steel. The project timeline is now at risk. The supply contract contains a force majeure clause at clause 9.3, which is attached. Objective. Draft a client advisory letter explaining 3 options. Accept the force majeure declaration. Challenge it on the grounds that the disruption doesn't meet the contractual definition, or negotiate partial performance with an adjusted delivery schedule. Style. Clear and practical. Avoid excessive legalese. The client is commercially sophisticated, but not a lawyer. Tone. Reassuring but candid about the risks of each option. Audience. The CEO of a property development company. Response. A 2-page letter with recommended next steps presented as numbered action items at the end.
The output reads like it was written by a thoughtful associate, not a search engine. It starts with a plain English summary of the situation. It walks through each option with the commercial implications, not just the legal analysis. The numbered action items at the end give the CEO something to actually do. And the tone is right. It doesn't panic the client, but it doesn't sugarcoat the risk.
And that's because the prompts told the model who it's writing to. A CEO who needs to make a business decision, not a law professor marking an exam. That's what the audience box does. It shapes the register of the entire output.
Example 2. You're a litigation partner. Your client, a listed company, is in an ICC arbitration seated in Singapore. Contract dispute over delayed delivery of manufacturing equipment. The quantum claim is 4.2 million US dollars. Hearing is in 3 months. The board needs a status update.
Naive prompt. Summarize this arbitration for the board. The model produces something that reads like a case note, legally thorough, completely unusable by a board of directors who need to make a commercial decision about whether to settle.
CoStar version. Context. ICC arbitration seated in Singapore. Contract dispute over delayed delivery of manufacturing equipment. Quantum claim of USD 4.2 million. Hearing scheduled in 3 months. Our client is the claimant. The respondent has raised a counterclaim for defective specifications. Relevant documents are attached. Objective. Summarize the current status of the arbitration, identify key risks, and present 3 strategic options. Proceed to hearing, make a settlement offer, or explore mediation. Style. Executive summary with bullet points. No footnotes, no case citations. Tone, neutral, and measured. The board includes non-executive directors with no legal background. Audience, the board of directors of a SGX-listed company. Response. A 1-page summary with a risk matrix showing likelihood versus impact for each key risk, followed by 3 recommended actions with estimated cost and timeline.
Now the board gets something they can actually use. 1 page. A risk matrix they can read in 2 minutes. 3 options with price tags. Look, the partner still needs to review every word. This is a listed company. The board paper matters, but the first draft is structured correctly because the prompt was structured correctly.
And notice what CoStar's extra boxes gave us in these 2 examples. In the force majeure letter, the tone box, reassuring but candid, shaped the entire feel of the letter. In the arbitration summary, the audience box, non-executive directors with no legal background, forced the model to strip out the citations and write for a business reader. Those are the moments where CoStar's 6-box structure earns its keep.
So let's step back. 2 frameworks, GCES from the Singapore Academy of Law, CoStar from GovTech, both work. Both make your prompt dramatically better than typing a single sentence and hoping for the best.
GCES gives you 4 boxes and puts special emphasis on source, the reference documents that ground the model's output in reality. That matters for lawyers because hallucination is the #1 risk. CoStar gives you 6 boxes and puts special emphasis on audience and tone. Who's reading this and how should it feel? That matters when you're writing for clients, boards, and non-lawyers.
So which one should you use?
Both. Or either. Or neither. As long as you remember the principle underneath. The difference between a bad prompt and a good prompt is not cleverness. It's completeness. A good prompt tells the model your role, your situation, what you need, how you want it, and what to work from. Both frameworks are just checklists to make sure you don't forget anything. Remember, treat the AI like a bright intern who knows nothing at all about your problem. So, give the AI, like you would the human, whatever documents that it needs to answer the question you posed.
Practice them. Save the prompts that work. Build a library. And next episode, we're going to do something unexpected with everything you just learned.
See you then.
AI for Lawyers is designed by a practicing lawyer. Alice and Dan are AI-generated voices. No legal advice here, just education.